Are men doing okay? I'm genuinely asking. I want to know, fellas, how are we feeling? Because there's some weird stuff's been going on, and it's honestly starting to bother me. It's starting to bug me, and I feel like I have to come on here and I have to talk about it. There seems to be this weird trend where everybody is getting into these like hyper toxic man content creators, like these guys who are like they're like car salesmen. They like sell. They like sell cars, but they act like they're Navy SEALs. You know?
I'm going to tell you this, my entire company, my entire team, if you don't have a six-pack, you don't work for us. No, I know. It's called, everybody say standard. How about we raise them?
That's the way, it's like the Navy SEAlification of American men has been happening, and it's not great. Like, you see these videos of these guys, and they're like, I once sold 100 cars in a single day. Yeah, I walked up to a guy in a parking lot and I said, "Hey, do you need a car?" And he said, "No, I'm just trying to get groceries for my family." And I said, "Your car sucks, piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. Your wife sucks. Your kids suck. They don't respect you. They're not gonna treat you right. I'll treat you right. I'll treat you right all day long and all night and well into the evening. I'll cook you a meal. I'll give you lunch. Would you like a lunch and a car?" And that guy bought 100 cars from me that day. He bought 100 cars. Like they do these. It's a bizarre thing that's happening now. This isn't new. Like, guys, I think historically speaking, dudes have had problems. There's been stuff in the past in the human race where guys have acted a little wacky, should we say? Not to get into any of the grimy details. I remember as a kid, I first started to notice that like there was something deeply wrong with some of my friends' dads. You remember that? Like whenever you were a kid and like you'd go to your friend's like house for like a sleepover for the first time, and the dad would be like really into showing you his knives, or is that just me? Like, there's this one kid whose dad like really loved knives, different types of knives, sizes of knives. It was very weird, and he was always showing them to us, and he didn't lock them at all. They weren't behind lock and key. These knives were out. These were public facing knives. And my friend also, well, he wasn't really my friend. He was a kid in my class. You know, sometimes this is like a hypothetical inside of a hypothetical, but you know, sometimes there'd be like a kid in class that it was just so damn sad that you took so much like no one wanted to talk to this guy, but you were like, I'm gonna throw him a single bone to see, is this kid capable of smiling? You know what I mean? That I don't know if everybody felt that way. That's how I felt, especially with new kids. When you get a new kid in class, I tried to be the ambassador for like the class or the school district. Really, I was like a little senator, and I would go up and I'd be like, "Hey, would you like to sit by me at lunch?" That was the type of little kid I was. Now, and look where it's got me. But anyhow, so like this friend's dad, he wasn't really, like I was saying, he wasn't really my friend. He was a kid that I kind of had become like it was like a pity hang. It was like, well, this kid probably has just been sitting alone on every Friday night of the school year. We were in like 5th grade or something. So I was like, yeah, let's talk. Like, we got to talking, and he was like, you want to come over to my house this weekend? And I said, fuck, I guess, yeah, let's do it. And this was the knife kid. This kid, the dad had all these knives, and the kid loved like playing with the knives, and he kept like dangling the knife. We'd be playing like Madden or something, and I would just look up and he'd be dangling a knife like over the top of my head, stuff like that. And I was like, hey, please, legitimately, please don't do that. And I could see in his eyes how much he loved that I was scared, and he loved that he was lording this weird power over me. And I was like, I think this is the last time I'm gonna hang out with this guy, but I do have to survive the night. But I did end up calling my mom. I was like, that old classic trick when you're at a slumber party and you gotta pull the rip, you just gotta pull the ripcord, you gotta get out of there, the emergency escape hatch needs to be open. So instead of staying the whole night, you'd be like, hey, I have a stomach ache, I think I need to call my mom and go home. I did that. That's what I did. Now kids like that and his dad are creating TikToks and Instagram reels and YouTube shorts of them like standing out in the woods doing survivalist training. And it's got an audience. People like this. People have really like found warm community for the first time in their lives amongst these guys, and like it's not just like the hyper masculine like outdoorsy stuff or like the crazy Navy SEAL car salesman. It's like there's like the Jordan Petersons of it all, like these weird little guys that are just like, men are being told no, and it's not right to tell a man no, especially when he's just a boy, or however he talks. And I look at all this and I think about my grandpa. My grandpa was a great dude, and his favorite thing in the entire universe was calling bullshit. He loved to see like guys like this, people like this that were out there just basically snake oil salesmen. There are people that were like, no, I've got all the answers. If you buy my seminar, if you take my class, I'm the big guy pounding my chest. And my grandpa was always like, this guy's full of shit. I don't know. And his philosophy on a lot of things was just, I don't know, man, just go to work, support your family, and try to have a little bit of fun on the weekends with your friends and neighbors and your kids. Like, I think that's ultimately what all this is about. And that's what I grew up thinking this, like, masculinity was just, like, taking care of people and trying to, like, you know, have a little bit of fun, go to work, try to do something that you enjoy, be good to people, be good to your neighbors, be good to your family, your spouse, your friends, and just kind of, like, take care of people. I thought that was what it was about. Turns out I'm completely wrong. Turns out it's about, you know, cooking tomahawk steaks over an open fire and pounding like 20,000 beers, but not woke beers. God help you if it's a woke beer. And there are woke beers out there, and I'm not gonna let them go down my throat. The only thing that goes down my throat is man beer. I love man beer, and I don't feel represented by anything, and I'm scared of a world I don't understand. I think that's kind of it. Like, they feel like a lot of men these days feel like the world has kind of left them behind. They feel confused by social trends or new technologies or just kind of the general direction of society. And I think they find something to hold on to with these guys that have these outrageous takes, these outrageous beliefs. The Andrew Tates of the world. The fact that I have to know who Andrew Tate and his brother is his brother or cousin. There's another one. There's two of them. There's one with hair and one without. And Andrew Tate is the one without hair. And there's the other one that I think is also a criminal. They're both criminals, and they're both very bad men. But they have garnered this crazy audience of guys that are just like, I just love being epic, and I love being sick, and I think it's awesome to be rude to people and call women names because they pale in comparison. The things I say to them pale in comparison to the things my father said to me. And I think that's another thing. I think there's a lot of bad dads in the world, may I say. I think some of these problems come from bad parenting and bad coaching. Speaking of bad coaching, look, I'm from Southwest Missouri. I'm from rural Missouri. There have been no shortage of psychotic men in my life, or psychotic people in general in my life. I'm from the Ozarks, you know, where the show is about. And but no one, people, I do have a problem with that show, Ozark. But a lot of folks don't talk like how they talk on that show with that little girl that plays the Silver Surfer now. That's like, you're going to have to kill me! That's more Arkansas, but I digress. Anyhow, I had a football coach one time, my high school football coach. We were out stretching before practice. He comes out and he sees us stretching, and he goes, hey, what the hell are we doing out here? And we go, stretching, coach. And he goes, hey, does a dog stretch before he chases the milkman? No, he just runs. And we go, milkman? And he goes, run! And I go, it's a different species, sir. And he goes, all right, smartass, you can run all practice. And that got me, I was so mad. I did not like that at all because I was being punished for being right, which is wrong. That is not a good thing to do. And I would just run. So that whole practice, I just ran in all of my equipment. I ran in a circle around the field the entire practice. And I just rehearsed in my head like what I would say to him, but I wasn't actually going to say any mean things to an adult because I'm not Malcolm in the Middle. You know what I mean? That's an authority figure. I have respect, even if he hasn't earned it and he's a psychopath. But what I wanted to say was, Coach, everyone hates your son. You have a horrible son, but we all pretend to like him because he's your son and people want to play. They want playtime. He's a psycho. And you did that. But this isn't about me and my high school football career, which I think if a lot of men... I think, honestly, if a lot of men said that sentence out loud, especially during an argument with their wife, hey, this isn't about me or my high school football career, there would be like a weight lifted off of their chest. And I don't know how this gets solved. I don't know how this gets fixed. I don't know, because I don't know what ultimately, what do you want? If you're finding yourself seen by these criminals and cryptocurrency, like, you know, sociopaths and these horrible boys, these guys that do these odd things, like the Liver King. The Liver King is a perfect example, because that's ultimately what all these guys are full of shit. They're all none of them. They rarely believe what they're actually saying. They're playing a character. They're doing a gimmick because a lot of them had a horrible career that they did not love before this. They started posting online. One thing started to go well for them, and it was their online presence. And they thought, I'm gonna lean into this hard. And the Liver King is a perfect example of this because he was telling people, he's like, I only eat things that dinosaurs would have eaten, and also I'm all natural and everything's fine. He was taking steroids while selling supplements to people about being all natural. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I can't believe that we're falling for it. I can't believe dudes are falling for it because that's the thing is a lot of this is just they're being duped. You're being tricked. I don't have the answers. I'm not saying that I'm some sort of bastion of masculine hope or ideal identity, ideal opinions, ideal thoughts. That's not what I'm saying at all. All I'm saying is, hey, could we just all take a second, take a deep breath and be like, what? You wouldn't hang out with these people. You wouldn't these social media manfluencers. You wouldn't hang out with them if they wouldn't hang out with you. They would not like you. They would not fuck with you one iota if you saw them in public or if they lived in your town. You understand that, right? It's all a ruse. They're selling you a bill of goods and they're the music man and if you're a guy who's made it this far and you don't like what I'm saying, I doubt you'll know who the music man is. But I just want you to snap out of it and start being regular. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how this ends. I don't think that one day you're sitting there and you know your life's not going the way you thought it would. Things didn't turn out the way that you were promised, or you didn't get that job that you thought you were gonna get. You didn't get that date didn't go well, or whatever it is, and one day you're just gonna wake up and look at a TikTok from some like bald guy in a really tight-fitting shirt that's like, hey, if you don't look a man in the eyes when you shake his hand, you know what's going to happen to you? You're going to walk out of your house today, and there's going to be 3 men in a van waiting for you outside your house, and you're going to go, hey, what are you guys doing here? And they're going to grab you, and they're going to take you into that van, and they're going to drive you to Niagara Falls, and you're going to go to Niagara Falls in upstate New York, and they're going to say, this is the last day of your life. You're going over in a barrel, and you're going to try to fight those men, but you're not as strong as those men because you didn't take my course, and you're going to be struggling, and you're going to be wrestling with these 3 men. Maybe you'll beat one of the men. One of the men is smaller than the other 2, but the other 2, they're going to get you, and they're going to put you in that barrel. You're going to be sealed in that barrel, and you're going over the edge of the falls. And this isn't like Scooby-Doo. You're not going to survive the fall over the falls. You are going to die in those rocks, and it's all because you don't know how to shake a hand or defend yourself from 3 other men. And I can teach you how to do that if you just pay me $19.99 a month. It is going to be hooked up to your bank account, kind of like how a gym membership is. If you try to get out of it, will kill you. And like, do they think that's going to help? Like, this scenario is going to fix their lives? No. Honestly, I'm not doing this out of like some sort of like weird hatred for my fellow men. I'm doing it because I get it. I've had my bad moments. I've had my bad days where I'm like, it would be kind of nice to just believe in a wild ideology and a weird swath of things that kind of makes me feel like I've never done anything wrong and I don't have to be accountable to anyone or anything, and that actually my opinion is sacred and of God. You know what I mean? Like that sounds like an easy life. So I guess what I'm asking, fellas, maybe it's okay for things to be hard. You know what I mean? And not just downstairs. Am I right? A lot of these gurus, a lot of these guys that are leading our men and our boys astray are all about like staying hard, being hard, tough, blah, 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 blah. But it's like in like a very WWE wrestling sort of way. You know what I mean? Like there's just not a lot of substance to it. You know what I mean? Like maybe stop trying to fix your outer shell and start fixing that inner little boy that somebody hurt one day. Because isn't that what the problem is? There's that little boy that you used to be that somebody was very mean to one time and did horrible things, said horrible things, put you through horrible things. And you know who's not going to fix that? Joe Rogan. I don't know if anything that I just said made any sense, but it's something that I just wanted to kind of sweat out with you all. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.